Welcome to Volume and Vision, the place where powerful books become practical ideas that can genuinely improve your life. Before we begin, I want you to imagine something. You wake up in the morning. The room is quiet, sunlight is just beginning to fill your window. For a few seconds, your mind is completely peaceful. Then your phone vibrates. You tell yourself you'll only check one notification. 5 minutes later, you've replied to 2 messages, watched 3 short videos, scrolled through dozens of photos, and somehow ended up reading comments from complete strangers. Nothing important happened, yet your mind already feels busy. Now imagine this happening every single day. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline, but because thousands of brilliant engineers have spent years designing technology that competes for one thing more valuable than your money: your attention. Today, our greatest resource isn't time. It's the ability to decide where our attention goes. And every notification, every endless feed, every recommendation, every little red badge, is competing to steal it. Without realizing it, millions of people have stopped controlling technology. Instead, technology has quietly started controlling them. The frightening part is that this change didn't happen overnight. It happened one small habit at a time. Checking your phone while waiting for the elevator. Opening social media during lunch. Watching just one more video before bed. Replying to a message while having dinner with your family. Each action feels harmless, but together they slowly reshape your entire life. This is exactly what Cal Newport explores in Digital Minimalism. This book isn't about throwing your phone away. It isn't about becoming anti-technology. And it certainly isn't about living like it's the year 1995. Instead, it's about something much more powerful. Learning to use technology as a servant instead of allowing it to become your master. Because technology is an incredible tool. The problem begins when the tool starts deciding how you spend your days. Think about the last time you were completely bored. Not entertained, not distracted, just bored. Can you remember it? Many people can't. The moment boredom appears, our hand automatically reaches for the phone. Standing in line, waiting for food, riding a train, even walking down the street. Silence has become uncomfortable. Our brains have forgotten how to simply exist without constant stimulation. But boredom once served an important purpose. It gave birth to creativity. Some of the greatest inventions, stories, businesses, and ideas were created because someone had nothing else to do except think. Today, we've replaced thinking with scrolling. Instead of creating, we consume. Instead of reflecting, we refresh our feeds. Instead of observing life, we document it. And slowly, almost invisibly, our minds become exhausted. Imagine carrying a backpack. Every notification adds a tiny pebble. One message, another email, a breaking news alert, a trending video. Someone liked your post. Someone tagged you. Someone commented. Individually, each pebble weighs almost nothing. But after carrying thousands of them every day, the backpack becomes incredibly heavy. The strange thing is that we often don't notice the weight anymore. We simply accept constant mental fatigue as normal. We believe everyone feels this way. We assume modern life is supposed to feel overwhelming. But what if it isn't? What if the problem isn't life itself? What if the problem is the constant digital noise surrounding it? Imagine spending an afternoon in a quiet park. No music, no notifications, no endless stream of opinions. Just trees moving in the wind, children laughing in the distance, birds singing overhead. At first, your brain feels restless. It keeps searching for stimulation. But after a while, something changes. Your breathing slows, your thoughts become clearer, ideas begin appearing naturally. Problems you've been struggling with suddenly seem easier to solve. This isn't magic, it's what your brain was designed to do. For thousands of years, humans evolved in environments filled with natural pauses. Moments of silence, moments of reflection, moments without interruption. Our minds were never built to process hundreds of digital inputs every hour. Yet today, many people check their phones more than 100 times every day. Not because they have important work, but because checking has become automatic. An unconscious reflex. Have you ever unlocked your phone, forgotten why you picked it up, closed it, and then opened it again 30 seconds later? Most people have. That isn't a lack of intelligence. It's the result of habit loops that have been carefully engineered. Every swipe carries uncertainty. Maybe someone messaged you. Maybe someone liked your photo. Maybe there's exciting news waiting. That tiny element of uncertainty is incredibly powerful. It's the same psychological principle used in slot machines. You never know when the reward will appear. And because you don't know, you keep checking. Again, and again, and again. Technology companies understand human psychology extremely well. Their business depends on attention. The longer you stay on a platform, the more advertisements you see. The more advertisements you see, the more money they earn. That doesn't make technology evil, but it does mean their goals aren't always aligned with yours. Your goal might be spending meaningful time with your family. Their goal might be keeping you online for another 15 minutes. Those two goals often compete. Imagine a father sitting on the floor playing with his daughter. She's building a castle from colorful blocks. She's laughing. She's telling stories. Then his phone buzzes. It'll only take a second, he thinks. He glances down. A message becomes another notification. One video leads to another. When he finally looks up, the castle is finished. His daughter has already moved on. He didn't lose an hour. He lost a moment that can never return. Life isn't stolen from us all at once. It's taken away in tiny pieces. One distraction at a time. One notification at a time. One unnecessary scroll at a time. And because each interruption feels small, we rarely notice what we're sacrificing. That is why digital minimalism begins with a simple but uncomfortable question. Is every piece of technology in your life actually improving it? Or have you simply accepted every new app, every new platform, and every new notification because everyone else did? Most people never ask that question. They assume if a tool is useful, then using more of it must be better. But life rarely works that way. Owning more kitchen appliances doesn't automatically make someone a better cook. Buying more books doesn't make someone wiser. And downloading more apps doesn't make life more meaningful. Sometimes, less creates more. More space, more focus, more peace, more genuine happiness. That is the philosophy at the heart of digital minimalism. Not removing technology, removing everything unnecessary so what truly matters has room to grow. Technology itself is not the enemy. In fact, if used wisely, it can help us learn new skills, stay connected with loved ones, build successful careers, and access more knowledge than any generation before us. The real danger begins when we stop making intentional choices. Instead of asking, does this improve my life? We begin asking, what is everyone else using? And those two questions lead to completely different lives. Imagine walking into your home after a long day. Your body is tired. Your mind feels overloaded. You have two choices. The first is effortless. You collapse onto the couch, open a social media app, and promise yourself you'll relax for just 10 minutes. 10 minutes become 30. 30 becomes 60. Before you know it, the evening has disappeared. You don't remember most of what you watched. None of it made you happier. None of it taught you something valuable. Yet somehow, you're even more mentally exhausted than before. Now imagine another evening. You arrive home and leave your phone in another room. You make yourself a cup of tea. You sit near a window with a book. Or perhaps you pick up a guitar you've wanted to learn. Maybe you write in a journal. Maybe you go for a walk without headphones. At first, it feels strange. Your brain keeps whispering that you're missing something. Maybe someone has sent a message. Maybe there's breaking news. Maybe there's another interesting video waiting. But after 15 or 20 minutes, something remarkable happens. Your attention settles. Your breathing becomes slower. Your thoughts become deeper. The restlessness begins to disappear. For the first time in days, perhaps weeks, your mind isn't being pulled in 10 different directions. This feeling is becoming increasingly rare. Not because peace has disappeared from the world, but because distractions have multiplied. The modern world has convinced us that being constantly connected means being productive. Yet being connected and being focused are two completely different things. Imagine trying to read your favorite novel while someone interrupts you every 2 minutes. Look at this. Read this message. Watch this clip. Don't forget this notification. Eventually, you would stop enjoying the book altogether. Your brain would never have enough uninterrupted time to become fully immersed. This is exactly how many people now live every single day. Their attention is constantly fragmented. Their conversations are interrupted. Their work is interrupted. Thoughts are interrupted. Over time, this constant switching comes with a hidden cost. Researchers have found that every interruption leaves a small mental residue behind. Even after returning to the original task, part of your attention remains stuck thinking about what interrupted you. Imagine trying to fill a glass with water while someone keeps poking tiny holes in the bottom. No matter how much water you pour, the glass never stays full. Our attention works in a similar way. Every unnecessary interruption creates another tiny leak. Eventually, we wonder why concentrating feels so difficult. The answer isn't that we've become less intelligent. We've simply become accustomed to interruption. Digital minimalism begins by challenging one powerful assumption. Most people believe adding another app can't possibly hurt. It's free. It only takes a minute. It might be useful someday. Those small justifications seem harmless. But imagine inviting one extra guest into your house every week. 1 month later, nothing seems unusual. After a year, your house is crowded. There isn't enough space to move freely. Digital clutter behaves in exactly the same way. One messaging app, another social platform, a news application, a fitness tracker, 3 shopping apps, multiple streaming services, several productivity tools. Each one requests a little attention. Each one sends notifications. Each one asks for updates. Each one quietly occupies a corner of your mind. Eventually your digital life becomes as cluttered as an overcrowded room. The problem isn't that any individual tool is terrible. The problem is accumulation. Minimalists understand something most people overlook. Everything you own carries a hidden maintenance cost. A car requires servicing. A house requires cleaning. A garden requires care. Technology also requires maintenance. Passwords must be remembered. Updates must be installed. Messages require replies. Notifications demand decisions. Even when you're not actively using these tools, they occupy mental space. That invisible cost continues growing. Now imagine removing everything that doesn't genuinely matter. Suddenly, the room feels larger. You breathe more easily. Finding what you need becomes effortless. Digital minimalism applies the same philosophy to your attention. Instead of asking, "Can this app be useful?" ask, "Would my life become significantly worse without it?" That question changes everything. Because many digital tools provide convenience, very few provide genuine value. Convenience is pleasant. Value transforms your life. There's a huge difference between the two. Consider 2 friends. Both decide they want to improve their health. The first downloads 6 fitness apps, a calorie tracker, a sleep monitor, a hydration reminder, a workout planner, a meditation app, a step counter. Every day he spends nearly an hour checking statistics. He knows exactly how many calories he burned, exactly how many hours he slept, exactly how many steps he walked. But months later, he hasn't actually become healthier. He's simply become better at measuring. The second friend downloads nothing. Instead, she goes for a 40-minute walk every evening. She cooks more meals at home. She sleeps earlier. She stretches before bed. 6 months later, she feels stronger, healthier, and happier. She tracked less. She lived more. Technology should support action. It should never replace it. One of the biggest myths of our generation is that information automatically creates change. We consume endless advice, morning routines, productivity hacks, motivation videos, success podcasts, book summaries, health tips, financial strategies. Yet many people remain stuck. Why? Because learning without applying becomes another form of entertainment. Knowledge only changes your life after it changes your behavior. Think about how many articles you've saved for later. How many videos you've bookmarked. How many online courses you've promised yourself you'll finish someday. Those intentions feel productive, but intention without action creates the comforting illusion of progress. Digital minimalism encourages a completely different approach. Consume less. Apply more. Instead of reading 10 books this month, perhaps read 1 slowly. Instead of watching 20 productivity videos, implement 1 habit consistently. Instead of collecting ideas, build a life around them. The goal isn't becoming an expert on productivity. The goal is becoming productive. There's an old saying that a flashlight is useful only when you turn it on. Knowledge works exactly the same way. It isn't enough to possess it. You have to use it. Another overlooked consequence of constant connectivity is that it slowly weakens our ability to be alone. Notice what happens the next time you wait somewhere. At a doctor's office, at a railway station, at a restaurant before your friend arrives. Almost everyone immediately reaches for their phone. Not because there's urgent work. Not because they're expecting an important call. Simply because silence feels uncomfortable. Yet solitude has always been one of humanity's greatest teachers. Some of history's greatest ideas emerged during long walks, quiet mornings, peaceful evenings, moments without interruption. When your mind isn't flooded with other people's opinions, it finally has room to discover its own. That's why many writers, inventors, scientists, artists, and entrepreneurs deliberately protect time for solitude. Not because they dislike people, because they understand that creativity requires space. Your best ideas rarely arrive while scrolling. They appear while showering, walking, gardening, driving quietly, watching the rain. Those moments seem unproductive. In reality, your brain is doing some of its deepest work. Unfortunately, modern technology interrupts many of those moments before they even begin. The instant your mind becomes quiet, a notification appears. The instant boredom arrives, a new video starts playing. The instant reflection begins, your attention is pulled somewhere else. Without realizing it, we've outsourced our inner lives to endless external stimulation. And perhaps that's the greatest loss of all. One of the most powerful ideas in digital minimalism is surprisingly simple. If you want to regain control of your attention, don't start by asking what you should remove. Start by asking what kind of life you want to build. This changes everything. Most people approach digital habits the wrong way. They think, I need to spend less time on my phone. But the phone isn't the real problem. The real problem is that there isn't something more meaningful waiting on the other side. Nature hates empty space. So does the human mind. If you simply delete social media but don't replace it with anything valuable, your brain will eventually search for another distraction. Maybe endless news. Maybe online shopping. Maybe another app. The distraction changes. The habit survives. That's why lasting change is never about subtraction alone. It's about replacement. Imagine removing all the furniture from a room. The room feels strangely empty. Now imagine carefully filling that same room with things you truly love. A comfortable chair, a bookshelf, a piano, plants near the window, soft lighting. Now the room feels peaceful instead of empty. Your digital life works the same way. When you remove low-value activities, you must intentionally fill that space with high-value ones. Otherwise, the empty space will quickly fill itself. So what belongs in that space? The answer depends on what you value most. Maybe it's becoming healthier. Maybe it's becoming more creative. Maybe it's strengthening your relationships. Maybe it's learning a skill you've always admired. Maybe it's simply becoming calmer. Technology should support those goals, not replace them. Think about the happiest memories of your life. Perhaps it was a family vacation, a conversation with an old friend, playing football after school, learning to ride a bicycle, cooking with your parents, watching the sunrise from a mountain. Notice something interesting. Almost none of our favorite memories involve staring at a screen. The moments we treasure most usually involve people, experiences, challenges, growth, laughter, movement, connection. Yet many of us spend hours every day doing activities we know we'll never remember. Scroll through your social media feed from 3 weeks ago. Can you remember what you watched? Probably not. Now think about a meaningful conversation you had years ago. You may still remember every detail. The human brain naturally remembers meaning, not endless consumption. This is why digital minimalism encourages us to become creators instead of constant consumers. There is a unique satisfaction that comes from making something, writing a story, planting a garden, learning photography, building furniture, painting, cooking, playing music, starting a small business, learning a language. These activities demand effort, but they also give something back. They develop your abilities. They increase your confidence. They leave you feeling fulfilled instead of mentally drained. Passive entertainment, on the other hand, asks almost nothing from you. It fills time, but it rarely fills your life. Imagine spending an entire Saturday watching short videos online. When evening arrives, you'll probably wonder where the day went. Now imagine spending that same Saturday learning to bake bread. The first loaf might, the second may be only slightly better. But by the end of the day, you've gained a real skill. You've created something with your own hands. That feeling stays with you. This difference is incredibly important. Human beings aren't designed only to consume. We're designed to create. Every time you build something, no matter how small, your brain receives a different kind of satisfaction. It's slower, quieter, but much deeper. The digital world offers instant rewards. Real life offers lasting rewards. Instant rewards disappear quickly. Lasting rewards continue growing. Think about learning to play the piano. The first week is frustrating. The second week isn't much easier. Your fingers make mistakes. The songs sound awkward. Progress feels slow. Then one day, almost without realizing it, you play an entire piece from beginning to end. The joy you feel cannot be compared to watching another online video. One required patience. The other required only a thumb. The same principle applies to nearly every meaningful activity. Fitness, art, writing, friendship, business, reading. None of them provide instant gratification. But they all provide something much more valuable: growth. One of the greatest misunderstandings about happiness is the belief that comfort automatically creates fulfillment. It doesn't. People often imagine that removing difficulty will make life better. Yet the happiest people rarely live the easiest lives. Instead, they live meaningful ones. Meaning often requires effort. It requires patience. It requires practice. Digital distractions promise effortless pleasure. Meaningful activities require participation. That is exactly why they feel so rewarding. Let's talk about relationships for a moment. Today's technology allows us to communicate with almost anyone on Earth within seconds. That is an extraordinary achievement. Yet many people report feeling lonelier than ever before. How can both be true? Because communication and connection are not the same thing. Sending a heart emoji isn't the same as giving someone a hug. Liking a photograph isn't the same as listening to a friend who's having a difficult day. Commenting, "Congratulations," isn't the same as celebrating together over dinner. Technology can help us stay in touch, but meaningful relationships are built through presence. Imagine two lifelong friends. The first exchanges hundreds of messages every month. Funny memes, quick replies, reaction emojis. The second speaks only once every few weeks. But when they do, they spend 2 hours talking honestly about life. Who has the stronger friendship? The answer is obvious. Depth always matters more than frequency. Digital minimalism reminds us that relationships become stronger through quality, not quantity. Instead of collecting hundreds of acquaintances online, invest deeply in a handful of real friendships. Instead of reacting to someone's vacation photo, invite them for coffee. Instead of sending another emoji, make a phone call. Instead of commenting, have a conversation. People rarely remember the number of likes they received, but they never forget the person who showed up when life became difficult. That is real connection. Another lesson from the book is learning to protect your attention as if it were your most valuable possession. Because it is. Imagine someone walked into your house every hour and took $10 from your wallet. Eventually, you would lock your doors. You would install security cameras. You would protect your money. Yet many people allow countless distractions to steal something even more valuable: hours of their lives. The tragedy is that money can often be earned again. Time cannot. Every unnecessary distraction quietly takes a small piece of a day you'll never get back. At the end of your life, your greatest regret probably won't be missing one trending video. It might be missing conversations, experiences, dreams, adventures, moments with people you love. Because while technology constantly encourages us to document life, real happiness comes from actually living it. Imagine standing on a beautiful beach during sunset. The sky glows orange and gold. The waves gently touch the shore. Children laugh nearby. Now ask yourself honestly, would you rather spend those few minutes searching for the perfect camera angle, or simply stand there, breathe deeply, and experience the moment? Sometimes the greatest memories are the ones we never photograph, because we were too busy enjoying them. And perhaps that's the deepest message hidden inside this entire book. Your life is happening now. Not after the next notification. Not after checking one more message. Not after another endless scroll. Right now. Every moment deserves your full attention. Because attention is where life happens. There is one final practice that ties every idea in this book together, and it may be the most important one of all. It's learning to become the guardian of your own attention. Think about the people you admire most. It could be a successful entrepreneur, a brilliant scientist, a talented musician, or someone who simply lives a peaceful and meaningful life. Although their careers may be completely different, they often have one habit in common. They protect their focus. They understand that attention is a limited resource. Every yes to one thing is automatically a no to something else. Every hour spent scrolling is an hour not spent learning. Every evening lost to endless videos is an evening not spent building memories. Every distraction quietly replaces an opportunity. This doesn't mean you should eliminate every form of entertainment. Life isn't meant to become a strict schedule with no room for fun. Digital minimalism isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming intentional. Watch a movie because you truly want to enjoy it. Don't watch 5 hours simply because the next recommendation appeared. Use social media to stay connected with people who genuinely matter. Don't let it become the place where you unconsciously spend every free moment. The difference may sound small, but over the course of a year, it changes everything. Imagine two people beginning today. Both are equally talented. Both have the same number of hours every day. The first person spends 4 hours each day jumping between notifications, videos, online arguments, and endless scrolling. The second spends those same 4 hours reading, exercising, practicing a valuable skill, meeting friends, and thinking deeply about important goals. After 1 week, there isn't much difference. After 1 month, the gap becomes noticeable. After 1 year, they appear to be living completely different lives. The remarkable part is that neither life changed overnight. Small daily choices quietly shaped both futures. That is why your habits matter so much. Success rarely arrives through one extraordinary decision. It is built from ordinary decisions repeated consistently. The same is true for peace of mind. No single evening without your phone will transform your life. No single walk without headphones will suddenly make you wiser. No single conversation will repair every relationship. But hundreds of small intentional moments begin creating a different person. Someone calmer, someone more present, someone who decides where attention goes instead of allowing algorithms to decide. Cal Newport suggests something that may seem uncomfortable at first. Take a break from optional digital technologies. Not forever, just long enough to discover what life feels like without constant interruption. Many people fear this idea. What if I miss important news? What if my friends forget about me? What if I become disconnected? But something surprising usually happens. You discover that the world continues exactly as before. The notifications you thought were urgent suddenly seem unimportant. The conversations worth having still happen. The people who genuinely care about you still find ways to reach you. And perhaps for the first time in years, you begin noticing things that were always there. The sound of birds early in the morning. The satisfaction of finishing a difficult chapter in a book. The feeling of completing a workout. The joy of cooking a meal from scratch. The laughter during dinner with family. The excitement of mastering a new skill. These experiences were never missing. Your attention simply wasn't available to notice them. One beautiful lesson from this philosophy is that happiness doesn't always come from adding more. Sometimes happiness comes from removing what never belonged there in the first place. Imagine a beautiful garden completely covered with weeds. The flowers haven't disappeared. They're simply hidden. Removing the weeds doesn't create the flowers. It reveals them. Digital minimalism works in much the same way. It doesn't create meaning. It uncovers the meaning that constant distraction was hiding. Many people spend years searching for purpose while filling every quiet moment with noise. Purpose rarely shouts. It usually whispers. And whispers can only be heard in silence. This is why solitude becomes so valuable. Not loneliness. Solitude. There is a difference. Loneliness is the pain of feeling disconnected from others. Solitude is the gift of reconnecting with yourself. Some of the most important conversations you'll ever have won't involve another person. They'll happen inside your own mind. What kind of life do I truly want? What matters most to me? Who am I becoming? What do I want people to remember about me? Those questions cannot be answered while your attention is constantly being pulled elsewhere. They require stillness, reflection, patience, and courage. Another powerful habit is learning to be with boredom again. This might sound strange. After all, we've been taught to eliminate boredom whenever possible. Yet boredom has always been the doorway to creativity. Think back to childhood. Some of your favorite games probably weren't carefully planned. They were invented because there was nothing else to do. A stick became a sword. A cardboard box became a spaceship. An empty afternoon became an unforgettable adventure. The imagination filled the empty space. Today, the empty space rarely exists. The instant boredom appears, entertainment rushes in to replace it. But creativity needs that empty space. It needs moments where your mind wanders freely. Many great ideas don't appear while you're actively searching for them. They arrive unexpectedly, while walking, gardening, driving, taking a shower, watching clouds drift across the sky. Your brain quietly connects ideas in the background. It solves problems without forcing them. But this process requires uninterrupted time. It requires patience. It requires silence. Perhaps that is why so many people feel mentally exhausted despite consuming more information than ever before. Their minds are constantly receiving, rarely processing. Information without reflection creates noise. Reflection transforms information into wisdom. And wisdom is what ultimately changes lives. As we come to the end of this journey, remember that Digital Minimalism is not really a book about phones. It isn't a book about deleting apps. It isn't even a book about technology. At its heart, this is a book about freedom. The freedom to choose your own priorities. The freedom to protect your peace. The freedom to give your full attention to the people and experiences that truly deserve it. Technology will continue evolving. New platforms will appear. Smarter algorithms will be created. More devices will compete for your attention. That race may never end. But your response to it is entirely within your control. Every morning you have a choice. Will you begin your day reacting to the world, or creating the life you actually want? Will your attention belong to algorithms, or will it belong to you? Because in the end, your life is simply the sum of whatever has consistently received your attention. Guard it carefully, spend it wisely, and never forget that the greatest moments in life are rarely found behind a screen. They are found in meaningful conversations, quiet mornings, challenging work, genuine friendships, beautiful books, unforgettable adventures, and the simple joy of being fully present. If today's journey helped you see technology from a different perspective, then you've already taken the first step toward a more intentional life. Thank you for spending your time with Volume and Vision. If you enjoy thoughtful book summaries that help you grow, think deeper, and build a better life, make sure to subscribe and join our community. We share ideas from some of the world's most influential books, transformed into practical lessons you can apply every day. Until next time, remember this: your attention is your life. Wherever you choose to place it, your future quietly follows. Take care, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next book.